It's the boy, Bubba, let's coming through. Hella clutch, flawless, can't be touched. It's your boy, Bubba, let's. Yeah, I need that hot take. I need the truth and everything that is not fake. So tell me.
Hello, Bubba Bunch, and welcome back to another edition of the Bubba Let's Sports Podcast. It is winners and losers of Week 13. I was about to say Week 11 for some reason, but it's
13.
episode 193. It's been a week since we did a last podcast. Look, you know, UPS it's been getting like that.
You know, for me, it was, life in school, but guess who's back?
Look, it's been 3 weeks since we've had Kevin.
Who's back?
And luckily, we got him back just in time for winners and losers. Kind of a weird one because I wanted to do it on Tuesday, but the week didn't end until yesterday's game.
Yeah. Was there a game yesterday? I didn't think there was a game yesterday. I did not think a functional team, played yesterday.
Look, it made national news that there was a severe murder going on in Baltimore.
Yeah.
A lot of lives were lost.
Maybe Tyreek should have called for the National Guard in that game instead of the game against Denver, but, whatever.
Look, unfortunate to hear the news about Anthony Brown, Chidobe Awuzie, Xavier Woods, Darian Thompson, pretty much everyone on that Cowboys defense because they died yesterday.
Yeah. Or at the minimum, they broke their ankles. Their ankles are now severely broken, but,
Hot boys. Yay. Let's there's no reason to do a review or a preview for a Cowboys game because if I don't care, neither should you. How about that for you guys?
Hot boys stayed in 2017.
Don't get me started. Okay. All right. So, winners and losers of Week 13. A very weird week in the NFL.
It was a very, very odd week. I don't think we've had a week like this in the NFL in a very long time. But it makes for good headlines, and I like it. I like change.
Yeah. There's a lot of things we can talk about, not just the winners and losers. There's some teams and some players that are not going to be on this list, but we can still talk about them. So congrats on Greg Williams throwing that game on a cover zero to cost the Jets their first win of the year. They're probably their only win of the year.
Let's see. 10 seconds left. All you need to do is stop them. But you know they're gonna go long.
You just got to prevent.
Zero. Cover zero. That's it. Cover zero.
Don't bother covering Henry Ruggs. We got him.
That man now does not have a job. So.
Look, I'm big on conspiracy theories, right? There is one in New York right now. And I'm not saying this is, I'm not Jay Glazer or Adam Schefter over here reporting the news. I'm just speculating.
Adam Schefter, love you.
But I'm just saying.
Oh.
What if Jets front office, gets on the mic.
Oh.
Gets on the mic with 14 seconds left.
Okay.
And gets in the ear of Greg Williams and says, hey, if we win this game, we're tied with the Bengals in Jacksonville for the first pick in the NFL draft. And Trevor Lawrence, Sunshine, is looking real good in a Jets uniform. So we know you're going to get fired eventually because their defense is just terrible. So why not go out with a bang? Why not just say, Greg, you're known for just doing these weird blitzes and being very aggressive when you don't need to. So if we give you a little bit more money on the way out, I'll just slide you that check. And we put, Greg Williams, thanks for tanking and keeping us at the number 1 pick. Just run a cover zero. Just let them score. Just don't tell anybody. Don't tell Adam Gase. I mean, he doesn't know what he's doing either, but he doesn't need to know. Just run a cover zero and just let Hunter Ruggs get through.
Have fun in New York, Trevor.
Just saying.
Have fun in New York, Trevor.
Hey, congrats to Sam Darnold. He might actually have a career after this.
I'll put in $20 towards your funeral if you want, man.
And GoFundMe's. It's in the link in the description below.
Yeah.
All right, winners and losers. You know the deal. Winners, they get
A little bit of the bubbly.
Losers. And the honorable mention of the week. You know it. Oh shit, it didn't play. Oh, I know. My bad.
And I want my damn respect too.
There we go. Sorry.
Oh,
Technical
all right.
difficulties. I'm going to blame my
All
producer for that one.
Producer.
Kevin, you
Yes,
haven't
sir.
been here in 84 years, so go ahead. You're first up.
Well, sir, you know, 2020 has been a very bizarre year. Would you agree?
Amen.
Amen. And you know, I find it funny, and I find it fitting, that a team with no name has won their last 4 out of 5 games and are now in the driver's seat to possibly win this division. As of right now, it is the Giants. I get it. But how can you not say that this team is just winning? Dude, they're winning. They've won the last 4 out of 5.
They got the W already.
W. They've won the last 4 out of 5. I mean, can we rename the comeback player of the year to the Alex Smith comeback player of the year? Jesus Christ. Have you ever heard a better story than him? No. And then, not to mention, you go to Pittsburgh. You go to Pittsburgh and beat the 11-0 Pittsburgh Steelers. Now I know there's arguments about, you know, the Steelers schedule and, you know, they have a very I get it. Whatever. But still, you go out and you beat the only undefeated team in the NFL. That's a winner in my book, dude. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So, the Washington football team, never thought I'd say that one day. You deserve a little bit of the bubbly.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
This is no argument. This is no opinion. No agree to disagree here. They have the best defensive line in football.
Isn't it crazy how good they are? Isn't it crazy?
It's
Ryan Kerrigan, Montez Sweat, Deron Payne, Chase Young. Dude, my God.
Jonathan Allen.
Jonathan Allen, I forgot about him. Yeah.
Look, Chase Young, I was a little bit wrong on him. I was waiting for him to give me a little more. You know, in those big moments.
You know what? You were wrong. How disrespectful of you.
Whoa. I didn't say he was going to be a bust. I'm just saying, like, look, let's slow down on the Chase Young talk. But this entire line has been built for many years, and credit to Jim Tomsula, who doesn't seem to know what he's doing in Dallas, but he knew what he was doing in Washington. He was building a defensive line that was intimidating to every offensive line and every offense in football. And that started with guys like Montez Sweat, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen. And then you brought in Chase Young to really put that knockout punch onto that. And even with the difficulties and the injuries at the linebacker position, they have done a phenomenal job of getting to the quarterback, and they sealed the deal in that Pittsburgh game with, I believe, was it Montez Sweat that got the batted ball and the deflection?
I think it was, yeah.
That created that turnover, that created that interception, that sealed the deal for that game. But they've been doing it all night long with the batted balls, hands in the air. That's just very good fundamental football. And they are scary, man. But
They are scary.
at the beginning of the season, what I said, I was like, look, I like Ron Rivera to bring some discipline to this team, which he has even through the difficulties in his personal life. But I felt that the move that was going to be more impactful for this team in the long term was Jack Del Rio at defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And that all starts at that offensive line. They don't have the best secondary in football. They're far from it. But they have improved tremendously in that secondary. But it's all credit to that defensive front. And I tell you what, man, for the Cowboys to have to play that 2 times a year, you saw just a few weeks ago at Thanksgiving. That is scary, no matter who you are. And I wouldn't want to go against that any given week.
I mean, hats off to Jim Tomsula and at least the front office for, you know, that defensive line.
I mean, they got something right.
They deserve it. Yeah.
You know, in the debacle that is their franchise, they got something right. And Of course, you're going to give Alex Smith the comeback player of the year just for him to be on the field. Of course, it's a great thing. But I'm looking at this offense. I'm like, look, this offensive line does need help, and they do need time to grow. They need to get healthy. But I love what they're doing with Antonio Gibson.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Terry-
He's been a very bright. Him and Terry McLaurin. I know you're going to say that they've been such a bright spot in this offense, because, I mean, you see the other options they got. Like Logan Thomas. Like, yeah, Logan Thomas is good, but he's not transcending yet, and I think he will because he has a talent. But
Well, they finally have some consistency at that tight end position because for so many years they relied heavily on the health of Jordan Reed, and they never got that. They always got a banged up tight end. So now that they have someone that they can rely on, but then Sims played well, very well in that Pittsburgh game. So at least he's a good second or third option to Terry McLaurin and Antonio Gibson.
Washington can probably maybe draft a wide receiver in this upcoming draft. Maybe wide receiver, maybe some O linemen. They could be a scary team. Very scary team.
They really could, and who knows when they're going to get an actual team name. But considering what it should have been at the beginning of the season, I'm just like, okay, let's just damage control this at the beginning of the season. Let's just, we got a lot to deal with. We were not expected to win the division at all. We're probably last in the division for a lot of people. Let's just damage control this and see how we do. And now, they're not the greatest team in the world. I mean, they're still a losing record. But they're winning the games that they need to win, and they're in front of that division. And if I'm a team in the playoffs that has to go and play Washington in the first round, look, I'm not going to say, oh, that's an easy win. I'm looking at that defensive line, I'm like, oh, they're not going to make it easy on us at all. So it's really nice to see that they have some certainty with Ron Rivera.
That they're actually putting up a fight, and
really
that's
are.
what matters. That's what matters. So
you love that out of a team that has dealt with a lot off the field, and that's all you can ask for. If you don't win football games, at least you go down trying. And I feel like Washington's a good reason to believe in that.
Washington, hey man, you control your own destiny. Go for it.
Well, sir, speaking of the Washington football team,
oh my,
we're off the Dallas Cowboys train for this year.
Ben.
Well, we've been new.
Yeah, we've been new, yeah.
But at the beginning of the season, I said this team could be that team that just shocks you. Not the dark horse, not the sleeper like it was for Arizona or Miami. I'm just saying, let's see what they do. Because I feel like they can shock a lot of people. Same thing. Losing record, but they're winning the games that they need to. And they're playing good football right now, especially on the defensive side of the ball. How about the other team in the NFC East, the New York Giants?
Oh, okay. So I'm glad you brought this up because I want to say something about these Giants. Joe Judge, so far, there's still a possibility of a collapse. Mm-hmm. But so far, you have completely just made me look like an ass. Because whole entire season I've been saying that Joe Judge is just not going to do anything. He was not the right pick. I cannot believe that they went with him, when there were other coaching options available. But you got a young group of scrappy guys over there in New York, and it's working. It's working. I'm not going to sit here and say that, Daniel Jones has finally turned the corner. For the past couple of games before his injury, he was starting to get things together somewhat. Somewhat is the key word. Mm-hmm. So my respect to Joe Judge, I stand corrected. For now, I stand corrected.
There's a lot of issues with this team still.
For both Washington and New York.
Of course.
In the same sense.
Now, I was looking to see when the incident with Mark Colombo happened, because ever since then, they've been beating up people left and right.
Yeah.
Pun intended. Allegedly, they were throwing punches. But there's a lot of heat and a lot of confliction between Mark Colombo, this offensive staff, including Jason Garrett, with Joe Judge of how they want to run this team. And looking at the stats, Joe Judge and this offense, it's more focused on Jason Garrett. They are one of the worst in the NFL. I mean, they are really bad. They're like 30th in a lot of categories. And at the beginning of the season, their defense wasn't playing at the level they are now. But ever since these issues really started to calm down, and they get their first win out of this 4-game winning streak against Washington. So they have both wins over Washington this season, which is really going to help them in that tiebreaker if it gets to that point. And you beat Philadelphia. You beat Dallas twice already. So your division is in your hands, really. I think if you're going to focus on someone that has like their ticket and they're on the driver's seat for their own destiny, I think it is the New York Giants.
For sure.
But I'm looking at a team that, like, offensively, Daniel Jones is taking care of the ball, which is not something we've been able to say over the last few years. He is taking care of the ball. All you need Daniel Jones to be is a game manager. If he can just make the right passes, use his feet that he knows very well to do in certain situations, he can outrun some of the best in the NFL.
Don't trip, Daniel. Don't trip, Daniel.
Just don't trip. He can get those critical first downs, and if you can take care of that ball, that is the most important thing. You do not turn that ball over. You hand it off to Wayne Gallman, who is looking like a stud after losing Saquon earlier in the season.
Isn't he? Hasn't he been looking so good? I'm so surprised. I'm so surprised by Wayne Gallman. 100%.
And you look at how this system is working, and it's Jason Garrett at its finest. Jason Garrett 101 is that you control the time of possession, you run the ball, you run the ball, you run the ball, and it's all through your offensive line. For so many years, we criticized the Giants for having a terrible offensive line, yet they're making it work with Wayne Gallman, this offensive line, with even Colt McCoy, who got the win against Seattle, one of the top seeds in the NFC.
I couldn't believe that game. I really couldn't.
And look, it wasn't pretty to watch. That first half was dominated by Seattle. No matter, I've talked to Giants fans, and they're like, no, there's no way. I'm like, you didn't watch the game. The Giants were being dominated in that first half. Seattle should have scored way more points than was put on the board, only like 5 points in the first half. They controlled time of possession. They controlled the clock. They controlled offense. It was the second half and how that defense stepped up. Look, I know that defensive player of the year is always going to go to a guy that leads in sacks, that leads in tackles for loss. But consideration for one of the best defensive players in football is Blake Martinez.
Like, dude, you know, it's funny you mentioned that. Him specifically as well, but also James Bradbury.
That secondary is one of my favorite things in the NFL right now.
James Bradbury has been so under the radar, so low key, but if you look at his stats, he's technically a shutdown corner. He's just playing on a losing team, and he gets overshadowed. And so, Blake Martinez and James Bradbury have been the absolute surprises of the season when it comes to this Giants team.
But I am enjoying, especially the Seattle game, how well Jabril Peppers played in that game. I mean, he was all over the field, hard hitting as well. He was making his presence known. And then you add on the fact that they have Xavier McKinney, who was a really good pick in the draft. We thought it was a steal in the second round. And then their defensive line is improving. They're a 3-4 set, and Dexter Lawrence is looking really good. Finally, he's progressing.
He's a big boy.
He is.
He is a big boy.
He is. But they get off the field when they need to. They give those extra possessions to their offense, which they need. I'm looking at this New York Giants team, and I'm saying, like, their schedule isn't the easiest going forward. But they're getting Daniel Jones back this week, and as long as he can take care of that football, that is the most important thing. I'm going to sound like a broken record there, but that is the most important thing for Daniel Jones to succeed. And you continue Wayne Gallman to have another 100-yard a day, and he's had a touchdown in like the last 5-6 games in a row, I believe. Yeah. So they're doing great things, and I feel like the Joe Judge effect is really coming into play. Maybe after this year they get rid of Jason Garrett. I think that actually works in their favor because they can actually bring in another guy and say, look, we're using Evan Ingram really well now. Sterling Shepard is being used really well. Who knows if they'll keep Golden Tate, but maybe you get a wide receiver in the draft like Washington does, and then you get Saquon back. New York can be a problem as well. But I think for this year, I said it a few weeks ago. Remember this tweet. I said, New York Giants are going to win this division.
Well, New York, apparently from Bubba Lutz, you deserve a little bit of the bubbly.
A little bit of the bubbly.
Eli Manning's not a Hall of Famer. Go ahead, sir.
Trying to ruffle some feathers tonight, I see. Well, sir, you know, I thought about this one, and I was like, all right, should I really be putting them as winners? Because, you know, to a certain extent, you're always a winner when you literally have the greatest coach of all time. But you know what? I'm going to give him credit. Still. These Patriots were 2-5 at one point. 2-5. All right? And when I saw that, I was like, that's very odd. That is very odd that the Bill Belichick-led Patriots are 2-5. Was it Brady? Was it Bill? I don't know, man. I don't know.
But to get into the positive side of things, 2-5, you start to question if Cam Newton's the guy. You know what Bill Belichick does? He looks at the offense, he looks at Josh McDaniels, he looks at the defense that's been struggling, and he's like, ice. And then they go in.
And with that, hey, they went from 2-5 to 6-6 now. 6-6. They're in the hunt in the AFC. If they continue the streak, which it looks like they are, I mean, look, man, like I said, it's Bill. We all know Bill gets the job done.
In Bill we trust.
So, Bill Belichick, New England Patriots, man, I'm impressed. I shouldn't be impressed because it's Bill Belichick. But still, the fact that in a matter of 1 month, 4 weeks, 4 games, he has completely turned around this team. 100%. And, yeah. New England Patriots, you deserve a little bit of the bubbly.
A little bit of the bubbly.
Man.
Like I said, I shouldn't be impressed. It's Bill Belichick,
I don't know why you ever doubt him, man. I don't know why you ever doubt him.
I don't know why anybody ever doubts him, but still, you have to look at it at face value and say that, from 2-5 to 6-6. I mean, that's a pretty big turnaround. Also, with how competitive the AFC is this year, that's a pretty big turnaround. Yeah. So I like it, man. Bill Belichick, and Bill Belichick we trust.
Look, those 3 teams in the hunt right now really are going to be Baltimore, New England, and Oakland. If they don't play the Chiefs, they somehow think that they're just the.
Oakland is the most inconsistent.
Las Vegas. I'm so sorry. Las Vegas. Sorry.
Oh, Las Vegas. Yeah.
Oh, God.
My bad.
Oh, yeah. God. We're canceled.
Yeah, for real. But no, I agree with you. Las Vegas is the most inconsistent team in the AFC. Just like how, in my opinion, and I tell this to one of my friends because he's a big Buccaneers fan, the Bucs are the most inconsistent team in the NFC. I hate them. I hate the way they play because every single game, it's like one game they look like the second coming of the freaking New England Patriots in the early 2000s. They look unstoppable. They look amazing. And then the next game, they look like the 0-16 Browns. And I'm like, why is there no in between? And I don't get it.
I don't know. That's for another day. But right now, my trust in the hunt is in the New England Patriots. And the weird thing about this game against the Chargers, that was a complete blowout. Special teams unit did amazing. And I get it. The Chargers just have no special teams unit whatsoever.
Oh,
they have the struggles all year long. And ever since Justin Herbert gets the haircut, he somehow is no longer the quarterback he once was. This defense just can't get off the field. But I'm looking at this New England Patriots team. I'm like, okay, we know how one-dimensional this team is. Like, the Cam Newton threw for 69 yards in this game, passing. He has consistently more rushing yards than he does passing yards. So they're a one-dimensional football team that just runs the ball. That's all they do. They run the ball. And they've had struggles on that offensive line with injuries and just staying compact and clearing the pocket for Cam Newton. So I'm like watching this game. I'm like, nothing looks different. Nothing says to me that they're a different football team from what they were a few weeks ago. It's just the execution is perfect.
Yeah.
And Damian Harris continues to look good. And they add back Sony Michel off that injury. He's been out since like week 3. And I think he barely came back last week. And he looks energetic. He looks flashy. And I feel like that tandem duo of just Damian Harris and Sony Michel are so dangerous. And then you got to consider James White, who had like 2 touchdowns in this game. So,
Also, really quick to add on that, really quick fact. Cam Newton has 11 rushing touchdowns on the season. 11.
yeah.
As a big 250-pound quarterback. So, yeah, you might have a trio of great running backs, but how many times could you say in the NFL that, we're not going to use a back at the 1-yard line. We're going to use our big 6'6", 250 QB to get in.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you have a 4-headed monster instead of a 3-headed monster. It's crazy. So yeah, continue your point. Just wanted to add that in.
So, look, I think my criticism on Cam Newton is fair, no matter what. I think he is playing good football, but he's not to the level of what I would want out of him as a franchise quarterback.
He's not playing electrifying football. He's playing game manager football that's just good enough.
Right. And I'm okay with that because it's working. It's getting them wins. It's making them stay in the hunt. And I'll tell you what, man. Nothing excites me more than on a Sunday night where I have NFL Game Pass and I haven't watched any of the games because I don't have cable and I can only watch like one game at a time. I can go to the Patriots game and I can watch their defense and say, this is so entertaining to watch. And I'm looking at individuals, Kyle Duggar, Josh Uche, Chase Winovich, the McCourty brothers.
Yeah.
I'm seeing J.C. Jackson get his 7th interception of the year, and I'm saying I love Stephon Gilmore, of course. I love watching these guys play, and I know they have something special there. They had so many guys opt out because of COVID, so they're not the same defense they were last year. But you see the elements of, like, still great execution and a great football team that can come together, and they can really make a problem in the playoffs for a team that's red hot and they think they're super confident. They can go into Kansas City and say, look, we kept it close when we had Brian Hoyer as our quarterback when we went against you earlier in the season. And our defense really stopped Patrick Mahomes to a certain degree. We can do it again because we didn't show you everything, and you didn't see Cam. And really, Kansas City can't stop the run. So if we can run the football, it's going to be a long day for Patty.
Yeah, man. These Patriots are something special.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they do going forward. That Miami game is so important.
It's very important, yeah. Hopefully it stays the same. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Sir, go for your second winner.
Second winner with 33 minutes already on the clock.
Jesus Christ.
Very efficient episode.
Very efficient, yeah.
But I'm not going to say this guy's the MVP, like I said earlier in his career. I'm not going to say this guy's back, and I fully believe in him 100%.
I know who you're talking about. God damn it.
But you got to give credit to the guy.
No, you do. You do.
Who, in the most important game of his NFL career, came in and obliterated the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, he really did.
The score is going to show you, Bubba, it was a 1-score game. What do you mean? You didn't watch that game. That was 21-0 like that.
It was 31-7 at halftime.
Oh, man.
That game was crazy to watch. It was crazy.
And if someone would have shown me that in week 1, that score, I would have been like, you're crazy. And then you would have told me, the Cleveland Browns didn't win this game because of Nick Chubb. Like, he was a big part of it.
He was.
And their identity is in their running game. And Nick Chubb had a great game. Not to discredit what he did. But Baker was on fire.
He really was.
Baker did not care. He was confident in every single one of his throws. And he said, You want to put all the pressure on me and saying that I've been a bust so far and the Cleveland Browns should look at a quarterback sooner rather than later? All right. Real G's move in silence like lasagna.
I can't believe you said that, but yes.
I'm going to say it because I mean, what else do you say? He's like, did you see his post-game interview?
Yeah, I
He
did.
quoted he sounds so excited.
Dude, he's a character. He really is a character.
Look, he comes off like an asshole and a cocky prick.
Yeah.
He may be that, but if you just don't get his thing, you're not going to get it. I get it. And if you can back it up, I'm all for it. He hasn't been able to back it up most times, but he backed it up this Sunday.
Look, man, Baker Mayfield, at least for this week, you deserve a little bit of the bubbly.
You certainly do. Let me just name off the stats real quick before we give him the bubbly. 147 passer rating, which is 11 off perfect. He was 25 of 33, 334 yards, and 4 TDs. The boy was balling.
He was big time balling.
Oh, man. Cleveland's such an interesting story going to the playoffs. I mean, not only just a winning season, but they are winning this season. 9-3. And they finally get the win that they needed to. It was the win against a winning football team, a playoff contender. And they can see the Tennessee Titans later on in the playoffs as well. So we could see this rematch. And who knows if Derrick Henry wants to dominate like he did last season. But I see this matchup going the same way next time because of the Tennessee Titans' struggle on defense. I mean, their secondary is banged up. They don't know how to manage fundamental football. And they can't get to the quarterback. And you can't do that. This offensive, weaponized team of Cleveland is going to have a field day with you with Jarvis Landry and Nick Chubb, and their defense is playing really good football too, man. No one gives them credit on defense, but they're playing really good football.
Yeah.
So, Cleveland, you deserve.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Third winner for you, sir.
All I'm going to say is, Baker, please be more consistent, please. That's all I'm asking from you, buddy. That's all I'm asking from you. But, I waited for this one. As of December 9th, 2020, I don't ever want to hear the name Carson Wentz in the same sentence as Dak Prescott. Ever.
No.
Ever. There's only one instance where Carson Wentz was better than Dak Prescott, and that was in 2017.
Yeah.
That's it.
Before the injury.
That's it. Before the injury. That's it. I never, ever want to hear the same two in the same conversation ever again. It finally happened. Jalen Hurts is the official starting quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles, and I could not be happier. I'm not happy because Carson Wentz is benched. As much as I hate the Eagles.
You are. Stop. Just say it.
Hold on, I am.
You called them a loser in week 6.
As much as I hate the Eagles, and as much as I hate Carson Wentz because he is an Eagle, I can sit here and fully say that, he's a very talented quarterback. He's just been dealt a very, very unlucky hand. But still, I'm excited for Jalen Hurts, man. Look, I think Jalen Hurts, this is his time. This is his audition. This is it right here. He can go out against the Eagles. I mean, against the Saints. He's probably not going to beat the Saints for obvious reasons. But he can go out and he can make a statement. And Jalen Hurts has a talent. He has the talent. He just needs a better supporting cast. But I'm excited. I'm excited for Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a big-time winner for me this week. I think he's going to go out there against the Saints. He's not going to shine. He's not going to electrify because the Saints' defense is something serious. But I'm excited to see what he can do, man. Look, I didn't like this pick at all for the Eagles. I thought the Eagles wasted a pick on Jalen Hurts because they could have used it on defense. They could have used it for that offensive line that's completely banged up. They could use it on a wide receiver. Jalen Rager, sure.
He's been okay. He's been
no,
better.
no,
He's
don't
been
defend
better. No, he's been better.
Sure. Hey, have you heard of a guy named Justin Jefferson that they could have picked up? Have you heard of a guy named CeeDee Lamb that they could have traded up for? Oh yeah, okay, whatever.
Ooh, that boy.
Yeah, oh, that boy CD. He's still doing all right. Anyway, so Jalen Hurts, oh buddy, drink some bubbly, man, because I know you're gonna drink some bubbly after this week too. I'm excited. I'm excited for Jalen Hurts.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Okay.
I'm excited, dude. I'm so excited for Jalen. I'm very excited.
I'm not.
For Jalen.
I was never into Jalen Hurts. I don't care if he was picked second round or if he was picked sixth round, which he could have gone and no one would have cared.
Yeah, to a certain extent.
He's a good runner, and he fit the system in Oklahoma so well for Lincoln Riley. But I never believed, whether his success in Alabama or in Oklahoma, it didn't matter. There was reports that he just wasn't well liked in the locker room in Oklahoma. But look, I think there's a ceiling to every quarterback. There's always a ceiling, and some are higher than others. Like, there is a high ceiling for Tua. There's a high ceiling for Joe Burrow. For me, Jalen Hurts, there is a very low ceiling. There's only a certain amount of talent that can go far, and I don't think that's NFL ready or NFL worthy. He's a good runner, and he can run a read option pretty well. But if you want to rely on his throwing abilities and his arm, I'm not sold on that at all.
So look, this is where I, have to, I guess, bring in the points. While I agree with you that he is not by any means at the same level as Joe Burrow, as Justin Herbert, we still have to see what's going on with Tua. But, the main point. I want to be very careful how I say this because, the NFL is still changing. But the NFL is not the same anymore, man. The NFL is not the same anymore. And while, you still value a passing quarterback for obvious reasons, because that's how electrifying the offense is right now in the NFL when it comes to passing. Dude, if you have a dual threat quarterback, we saw it last year with Lamar. Now, Lamar might be a bad example because Lamar is kind of, regressing this year to a certain extent. But still, Lamar proved it last year that it's possible that you don't have to be an electrifying passer. You just have to be an electrifying athlete at the quarterback level. Am I saying that's a good excuse? No, it's not, because there's you can still see that, players like Justin Herbert, players like Joe Burrow, players, like Aaron Rodgers, players like Dak Prescott, where they're in a passing, they're more of a pocket passer than anything. They're electrifying in general. But when you have that dual threat, it opens up your offense to so much. And I think that's what Jalen Hurts can provide for the Eagles. With Carson Wentz, they were so stuck on just, intermediate passing routes because Carson Wentz's deep ball has been god-awful this season. God-awful. And while intermediate passing routes can be, effective, when you can't hit the mark, you just can't hit the mark. You have to move on to something else. So, okay, to your point, Jalen Hurts' passing ability, fair enough. It might not be 100%. But at least they can be like, okay, this isn't working. They have the ability to go to the opposite side of the spectrum and be like, all right, let's see what we can do with him running the ball.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They can't run the ball either.
Well, but at least they have another option to try it. Dude, I know their offensive line is banged up. Miles Sanders, poor guy, very talented. He deserves more. But at least they have another option. That's what I'm saying, that I'm excited to see what they're going to do with him. Whether if it works or not, we'll see this week. I'm at least happy to see that they now have another option at quarterback. And I think Jalen Hurts could somewhat have a good audition these next couple of weeks. 4 weeks? We're down to 4 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he can have a good audition these next 4 weeks.
No, I don't know. I don't think so.
You're that turned off by him. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't like him out of college. I thought he was one of the worst quarterback prospects coming out of college.
I thought he wasn't the second coming of Joe Montana, but I thought he has some talent there.
But, look, dude, you're saying that like he the ability to be a dual threat, like he's not a dual threat. He ran the ball.
Wow.
Like you have to have an arm to be a dual threat.
Yeah. Okay.
And when you bring up Lamar, it's like Lamar's different because you built the system around him. You fit the playbook for just him. The Eagles are not going to do that within a week with Jalen Hurts. And
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's more of an audition.
it's going to be a bad audition because it's against New Orleans, whose defense has really improved over the last few weeks. But they can't run the ball. Their receivers still can't catch. Their offensive line, they just put in Lane Johnson. A play goes down, and then he's down. And then you throw Jason Peters somewhere on that offensive line, and then you just expect stuff to happen. And you just have all this controversy and all this, hot seat talk about Doug Peterson and that coaching staff. If this is a bad audition to have Jalen Hurts do. And this is just setting up for failure.
As much as I agree that the Saints game is not a good game. However, we all know that the Packers have a shootout defense, and I'm not trying to compare them to the Saints defense. However, did you see the second Jalen got out there, shit started working. It started working, and he led them down the field and scored a touchdown. Now, am I trying to justify a good audition off of one touchdown drive? No, that's not what I'm saying. But my point is that you can see a team flip in morale when there's a brand new quarterback there that's, at least making some plays. And that's what I'm trying to get at. At least there's going to be a fresh face, a new sort of, I don't know what's the right word.
I get what you're saying because that team is going to be like, finally a new fresh or breath of fresh air.
We actually there's now an actual sense of, we can actually do something now. And I'm not trying to disrespect Carson Wentz, even though I somewhat am because I'm a Cowboys fan. But you know what I mean? It's just, I just feel like it was just over with Carson. You can make the argument that Carson was in a bad situation, and I get that. I could agree with it. But there's only you could only play that excuse for so long. And I think now, at least with Jalen in there, you could be like, all right, let's see what happens. Can we run with Jalen? Yes? Okay, let's try it. Can we pass with Jalen? He was looking okay against the Packers. I'm not saying he's looking amazing, but he was looking okay. Let's just see what happens. Let's see what this audition will bring us within the next 4 weeks. That's my whole entire point.
Yeah, I get
all
that.
This.
No, yeah. I mean, I don't think the argument or even the thought of Carson Wentz and that injury that he suffered,
Changed his life.
It completely fucked up his mental game. And these reports and all these analysts are saying, like, look, that competition or like his mental state of like having to worry about the guy behind him and then dealing with all these turnovers and the failures, like he's never really had to dealt with failure in his career because he's always been a winning guy. So this is brand new to him. Like, I get that, but you got to understand that like these struggles immediately started when he blew out his knee against the Rams. I mean, that was a bad injury. He didn't just like tear, an MCL or meniscus. Yeah. He blew that thing out completely. And I don't know if there's nerve damage. I don't know if it's something to the level of what Jalen Smith had to deal with. But I feel like that completely changed how he looked at football and how he's going to play football, because one bad hit could lead to another injury like that. And he's forcing the ball. He's overthinking it to a certain extent. And then you add in everything else. I don't feel like that injury talk, because he's dealt with other injuries after that. But I feel like ever since that Rams game and him having to go through rehab and having to deal with that, having to come back post-Super Bowl, having to deal with that stress, I don't feel like that's talked about enough. Because that probably had the main factor of his failures, or the start of his failures.
Yeah, so real quick before we move on to the next winner, just last thing. I love First Take. I love the show. It might be very flashy now, but I still love it. Max Kellerman made a point a couple of years ago in 2018, after the Super Bowl in 2017 for the Eagles. He made a point that back then I was like, Max, you're relaxed, dude. You're talking out of your ass. But now, because of all this that's happened within the last 3 years with Carson Wentz, I can't help but not agree with. I have to agree with Max. He made a point where should the Eagles start Carson Wentz or Nick Foles week 1 2018? And obviously they were going to start Carson Wentz. Are you serious? Obviously, But he made a point. And he said it again this year. I mean, last year in 2019 when it was the same situation. The fact that, you blew out your knee, unfortunate. But the fact that you had to sit on the sideline and watch your backup win a Super Bowl with the players that you grew with. And then the next year, 2018, you hurt your back and you're out for the rest of the season. And then that same player leads your team to a divisional round, almost beating the Saints. So there's a winning formula without you. And now, how is that going to affect his play? And Max was saying that it was going to affect his play dramatically because football's a mental game. Like I said, back then, was I with his opinion? No, I thought it was dumb. It was stupid. Shut up. Go out and play. But now, I kind of have to agree with Max because of the points you just made, because that's what he made. Those are the points that he made in 2018, 2019. It sucks, man. Look, as much as I don't like the Eagles, still, I have to admit that Carson Wentz has always been a very talented quarterback. And it sucks what happened to him. It really, really sucks because he could have had an illustrious career. 100%.
I mean, personally, I thought Carson Wentz was better than Dak. I thought the ceiling was higher for Carson than it was for Dak. I'll admit it. Like, I thought Carson was a more talented quarterback.
At a certain point, I have to say that I did agree with that point because of what he had in front of him. Did I think that it was by far better than Dak? No. I'm not saying that. There was a huge difference. But to a certain extent, I did have to agree that Carson was more talented. But I always thought that Dak had a somewhat edge because of at least what was around him. But that's 2020 hindsight now, I guess. But Jalen Hurts, we'll see, man. I'm excited for you. We'll see.
I don't know.
Oh, shut up. Tell me your third loser.
I think it'll just
I mean winner.
Eh.
I mean winner.
I think it'll just be like, Third winner.
Never optimistic over here.
Third winner for me. It's the newest front runner for Offensive Rookie of the Year. It is my boy Justin Jefferson.
Oh, I love that man. I love Justin Jefferson.
He is on a tear, man. All right.
Stephon Diggs too?
Oh, God, stop. I mean, there is a new number one receiver in Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
We can talk all about the receivers that went before him in this previous year's draft. And even still, like, you can't just expect or anticipate a guy like Justin Jefferson to have a season like this. If you're looking at the board, you're looking at these wide receivers, I had Jerry Jeudy, I had CeeDee Lamb, then I had a whole bunch of guys that if you went with them, you just say they're all great. T. Higgins, Justin Jefferson, Brandon Ayuk. You can just name them off, and I'll be like, yes. They're all good. They're all great. But Justin Jefferson is doing something that has only been done once in the franchise's history.
By one GOAT.
One GOAT. The only other rookie wide receiver in franchise history for the Vikings to ever have more than 1,000 yards receiving, which he's already surpassed, and we're not even done with the season yet. He has 7 touchdowns already, and there's still more to come. The only other guy to do that is Randy Moss when he was a rookie with the Minnesota Vikings.
He's just sensational. He is sensational. You watch the Minnesota highlights. You watch the games, and it's easy for him. It's easy for him. Justin Jefferson, he makes it look easy, and he's only a rookie. He's only a rookie, and he looks like a 7-year veteran. I mean, hats off to him, man. My respect.
And we're starting to see like it's hard to really judge both CeeDee Lamb and Jerry Jeudy this year because Jerry Jeudy doesn't really have everything on the offensive side. He was supposed to have Cortland Sutton, KJ Hamler all together at once, and we're starting to see Drew Lock, and we're like, is he the guy? We don't know yet. And then in Dallas, Andy Dalton's throwing to CD instead of Dak Prescott. I mean, the average yards per pass or reception for CD, I heard the stat today. It was like it went down by half. I think it was like, what was it? I want to say it was like 8 to 10 yards per reception for CD when he was being thrown to by Dak, and now it's like 3 and 4 yards per reception, which is terrible. And you still see that they're utilizing him to be the main focus on this offense. You start to see a lot more targets than he does to Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup. So CeeDee Lamb is still trying to go through the motions of his rookie year, and I don't feel like he's in the right situation to really prove that he is all that we think he is. So we got to see the Dak CD combination more to really judge what he does. But for right now, Justin Jefferson is the best receiver to come out of that draft by a landslide.
And you know what? I will say, Justin Jefferson by far number 2 in my opinion. T. Higgins. Before Joe Burrow went down, him and T. Higgins had that connection. Oh man, it was something special. It was great.
I really like what Brandon Ayuk's doing in San Francisco right now. Even with Nick Mullins, Brandon Ayuk has really come together and stepped up as that number 1 receiver, especially with Deebo Samuel. But T. Higgins, before Joe Burrow went down, they just had a relationship and they had an immediate connection that you just would die for if you're a franchise. Justin Jefferson, no matter who is on the field, he will make a play. He's electrifying, and he is dangerous. So Justin Jefferson, now with Joe Burrow being out for the rest of the year, Justin Herbert having a slump these last few weeks, you really can't say that no other guy steps up to the plate to win that award. I mean,
Tua's been inconsistent, you know?
Well, Tua just doesn't have the games yet. And I feel like he's played well, but he doesn't need to play at such a high level like Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert do to win games. He's in a perfect situation to where get us 2 touchdowns and 200 yards and we win the game. That's all you need to do, Tua. You don't need to throw for 400 yards. Joe and Justin have to throw for 400 yards. But somehow every week we're starting to see Justin Jefferson have 120, 130 yards passing. He has at least 1 touchdown. And then you're like, okay, we still got to worry about Adam Thielen, but it's Justin Jefferson first. That's what we need to worry about. And for a guy that's just coming straight out of college, he immediately knows coverages. He knows how to get into those dead spots of the coverage and those zones. And that's something that you can't teach. That is something that is just natural to a guy, and he just knows it, and he's so comfortable with it. So Justin Jefferson.
I respect.
You get.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
It took us an hour to do winners, by the way.
All right, for the sake of time, let's just go straight to the losers.
Still got to do honorable mentions just real quick.
Oh, okay. Well, my honorable mention. I don't even have to say a single word after I say his name. Alex Smith. Your honorable mention.
Okay. I'll match that. Just say his name. Kiki QT.
Oh, I do like Kiki QT. I've always liked Kiki QT.
Just real quick. 141 yards, 8 receptions. W.
Rest in peace, Will Fuller. Rip, man. Rip.
Yeah, Brian Cushing. How you doing, buddy? Strength and conditioning coach. Was suspended for those same things, and he's still with the team. Just saying.
I don't know, man. All right. First loser for me. I'm trying to keep this short, but Russell. Hey, Russell. Russell. Do you want me to go with you into the meetings? You know, and help you lobby for a new offensive line? Because, when I see you play, you literally have 3 seconds before you start running. That's it. You snap the ball. 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's already a guy in your face. You have to run away. I mean, dude, come on. Can this guy get some help? Please? Please. Russell Wilson literally is running for his life every game, dude. Every game. You see the games, and even if they win, he's still running for his life. Every single play. Come on. I mean, I've always roasted, Green Bay for not helping out Aaron Rodgers. And I still do to this day. I used to roast the Colts for not helping out Andrew Luck. I always used to roast, the Cowboys for not, getting defensive players. And I still do, somewhat to a certain extent. They did better this year, at least. Somewhat. But my God. This poor man is seeing his life flash before his eyes every single play. I bet you Ciara's having a heart attack every single game.
Oh my God.
I mean, dude, please get this man some help. I guess I'll say it this way. Stephen A, take it away for Russell Wilson's life. You know what? When he's running around, that he's screaming like that. He's screaming like that as he's running for his life. Jesus Christ, man. Russell, my lord, man. I'll go in. I'll go in with you if you want to those meetings. I'll go in with you to dance. I know what's not Dan Snyder. What's his name? The Seahawks. I don't know why I had Dan Snyder in my mind. What's the Seahawks owner's name? I forgot.
Oh, the owner's name? I don't know.
Okay, well, whatever. I'll go with you to those meetings, man, because Jesus Christ.
You gotta blame Russ for a little bit of it, though, right?
Why? Well, why? In what way?
Because his decision making has been poor this last 2 months.
These last 3 games, he's been kind of off lately. But still, dude, if you watch the games though, like, does he even have time to make a decision in the first place?
Not really.
Like I said, it's literally 3 seconds and he's already running.
I just don't get what the Seahawks are doing, because watching that Giants game, it's like I said earlier in this episode, I said, like, the Seahawks dominated that first half. They just rolled down the field on every offensive drive, and then they settle for a field goal, or they just can't get any points. But I'm like, as we go along, like Chris Carson is having great runs for good yardage, and he's breaking tackles, having a good burst. Chris Carson, if he's healthy, that team is dangerous, especially in the running game.
Oh, for sure.
And then you see them throw the ball, and you're like, what are we doing? Like I just don't understand why it doesn't click. There's just something about this team that just doesn't make sense. And
it starts with the offensive line.
And that's always been an issue. You can make this argument in 2019, 18, 17, 16. How many years have we gone by where like, oh, we just need a good offensive line, and this team is different. This team can actually be a contender. But like, they just don't care about the offensive line. They think that Russ will be enough, and it won't change. They're so focused on the defense, and with the addition of Carlos Dunlap, there has been some improvement at getting to the quarterback. But other than that, dear God, man, like, their defense looks... Dude, there was one play. One play. Wayne Gallman gets the ball, and I kid you not, there are 8 men in the box for Seattle. 8 guys in the box. And he found a hole so wide, it's like Moses parted the Red Sea. He broke through. He scores a touchdown. 8 guys in the box, and he finds the hole and gets touched by no one. That doesn't make sense to me at all for a defensive-minded coach in Pete Carroll. And, I mean, this is... Oh, my God. If you want to talk about teams that just you don't care about, it's an 8-4 Seattle Seahawks team. Like, 8-4 is like, you're not an 8-4 team. You scored 5 points in the first half when you should have scored at least 20. Like, I say it every year, like, they have an easy schedule. They beat the teams they need to beat as far as like losing record teams. And then when you have to play someone tough, and like the Giants aren't tough to the same level as like a I don't know, like a Saints
City,
team as a
Pittsburgh,
Packers.
Saints,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like they're not at that level, but you looked horrible against them. And this is a week-to-week thing. Like they're going to give up the most yards on defense that we've ever seen in the NFL history-wise. And we're expected to think that they're a number 2, number 3 seed? Absolutely not. I've never been on the bandwagon for Seattle. I like Russell Wilson, but the dude is so far from that MVP race right now that I'm like, oh, I'm disgusted. And I was so frustrated watching that game because you see the potential of how good the Seattle team can be and how dominant they can be in this NFC. And you just see it go down the drain. And it's the same issues that we saw 5 years ago, and it's never going to change.
Oh, we'll see, man. We'll see. Sir, your first loser.
Oh, God. Talking about fucking disappointing teams with a great record, why not just talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are the most underwhelming 11-1 football team that I've ever seen in my lifetime. 11-1, and you somehow struggle against every team in the NFC East.
Crazy, huh? It's kind of crazy. Yeah.
They have I said this with Mikey in the other podcast. They have the ingredients to be the greatest cake that we've ever seen. Like, it could be the most delicious cake that you've ever had with every single topping, with every single little thing that you want. It could be the most moist cake that you could ever have. It speaks a Super Bowl team, a veteran head coach that everyone on that team loves. I mean, a player's coach that is disciplined, that is, kind of hard, but just knows how to build relationships with these players. Big Ben, a veteran quarterback that still has some gas left in the tank. I was wrong about him, and I was really wrong about Big Ben. But it's like...
Who wasn't?
Whatever. You have every offensive weapon that you could imagine.
You really do, yeah.
You can name them off all day. An offensive line that has all pro guys across the board, and they are the most consistent group in football. They've been around for so long. A defense that can create turnovers. They have one of the highest turnover margins in football. Their secondary is so scary to watch. Joe Hayden, Minkah Fitzpatrick. Even throughout the injuries to like Bud Dupree and some of those other linebackers, like their defensive front is still led by T.J. Watt. It's a great group. Everything speaks Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. And at 11-1, you are getting knocked out in the first round, in my opinion. I'm looking at any wild card team, like the New England Patriots, if they squeeze in. If you're looking at the Miami Dolphins, if you're looking at Kansas City Chiefs, if you're looking at the Cleveland Browns, I'm saying I'm putting money on anybody but the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. Because I'll just like end it on this note. Watching that Washington game, I could not believe how scared that offense was to do anything. I get it. That defensive front, super scary. They have dropped 13, 14 passes in the last 2 weeks. And these are guys like Eric Ebron, Chase Claypool, Juju Smith-Schuster. They shouldn't be dropping balls. They shouldn't. That's no excuse. For the amount of TikToks that you make in the locker room, you're not dropping balls. But then the fact that, like, their offensive game plan was to check down or throw 4 yards down the field, and these receivers are bracing for contact. They are bracing to get hit, and they're scared that they're dropping balls or they're just not getting anything done on offense. They are scared against the Washington football team. And Alex Smith had a field day with them. How am I supposed to believe that you are going to compete against the Kansas City Chiefs, who are undoubtedly the best team in the AFC right now? I don't care what the record shows. Kansas City's better. And Pittsburgh has not had the game where I'm like, you are scary, and I wouldn't want to face you in the playoffs. I would want to face you in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go into Pittsburgh and say, you don't have any home field advantage. There's not going to be terrible towels all across the board.
When you barely beat, like you were saying, every single team in the NFC East, there's a problem. There is a problem. And literally, you barely beat all of them. All of them.
You barely beat Baltimore, who had everybody on the COVID list except for Trace McSorley.
He's a goat. Leave him alone.
You barely beat Trace McSorley.
Yeah.
And Mike Tomlin came out and said, I'm not impressed. We got the win. That's all I could say. We got the win. But I'm disappointed in these guys.
Yeah.
At 11-1, I'm selling the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, Stephen A., take it away for these for your favorite team, Stephen A. Go for it. Oh. All right.
I need a breather. That's that one.
All right. Good. Glad you got it out. I don't have to delve that far into this next loser. So it'll be a quick one. But Tennessee, what's going on, man? You guys good over there?
It's pretty simple what's wrong with them.
Yeah, so here's my thing. Hey, Ryan, remember those like 300-yard games, 4 touchdown passes you were doing earlier? What happened? Hey, Derek, remember those like 200-yard games you were having earlier this season? What happened? Oh, hey, AJ Brown. What happened?
No.
Now.
No.
Hold on. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. Derrick Henry, I love you, brother. Can you talk to your O-line real quick? Because your O-line is just not blocking for you anymore. My lord.
No.
No, what do you mean no? Don't start with me.
If you want to blame anybody for the Titans' struggles,
it's the defense.
It's the defense. You don't go for their offense at all. How can they score and control time of possession when they're not on the field for more than half the time?
So you are putting no blame on Ryan Tannehill, how he has been regressing severely the last couple weeks.
Excuse me, sir, but the fact that you expect Ryan Tannehill to have 400 yards a game.
He was doing it consistently in the beginning of the season.
And look, their defense actually gets off the field at the beginning of the season when everyone was healthy. And they had more time to control the clock. They had more time to run the ball with Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's still running and leading the league in rushing yards.
He's a monster, isn't he? I love him.
A.J. Brown and Corey Davis are going back and forth of 100-yard games and scoring touchdowns left and right. Jonnu Smith is having a great year. Look, it's not the same thing as last year's playoff team, but when your defense that can't stay healthy at the safety position, Jadeveon Clowney is either off the field or when he's on the field doesn't get to the quarterback, which is shocking because that's the whole reason you got him. They get rid of a lot of their guys that they brought in earlier this season, and they're playing undisciplined. They have no hustle on defense, and they're just tired. They're tired. Look, there's games to where I'm like, okay, the defense can just be okay, and they'll just run the ball on everybody, and they just dominate. But their defense is what's going to cost them in the playoffs, 100%.
So, like I said, I was eventually going to get to the defense, but
no, because you just disrespected everybody on that offensive side.
Because it's been complete catastrophe since the
literally a week ago they beat Indy. They needed that game against the Colts, and they won decisively.
Just trying to wrap my head around. You know what? I think if anything, I'm just trying to wrap my head around why they, well, we know why they lost so badly to Cleveland, but god damn.
No, I don't think anybody expected that.
God damn, dude.
They out-tightened the Titans. You run the ball with Nick Chubb,
Damn.
You set up the play action, and Baker's just going to throw confident throws and go deep like Ryan Tannehill was doing at the beginning of the season. They controlled time of possession. They had more possessions. They got the first downs. They couldn't get off the field. They out-tightened the Titans.
Tennessee looks so bad, and I guess I'm still in shock, but
I don't know what they do. I don't know what they do on defense because they simplified the scheme. They've simplified it to the most basic defense possible with guys that were there last year, and they can't get off the field. And I don't get it.
Look, I'll take my L for this point. That's fine.
Damn right you will.
But still, man,
Because Corey Davis got me 35 points last week. And
I dropped Corey Davis.
I appreciate that
Actually,
motherfucker.
I dropped Corey Davis, but you know who I got him for?
You deserve it.
No, I do not, because I traded him for McLaurin and Claypool.
Whatever. Steven.
Yeah.
Still disrespected him.
Who, Corey Davis?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. He's inconsistent.
It's time.
Oh, God. What?
My prediction was right.
Okay.
I said, watch this team, be the sleeper team. I think they've hit their ceiling for this year. I think we've reached the point to where they're going to improve next season, and they're going to be better as the years go along. But I feel like this has been a good run. You look back at it and you say, okay, we have a lot of things to improve on, but we have a lot of things to be excited for.
Okay. We're combining. Go for it.
Arizona Cardinals.
Oh.
Second loser of the week.
Oh. For me, it's my last, so we're combining.
There you go. So, great. So then we end on my third one, which is going to be fun. For the Cardinals, it's pretty simple because they shoot themselves in the foot a lot.
They really do.
Penalties, they lead the league in penalties. They're very undisciplined. And Cliff Kingsbury, as a college coach, is going to go through these woes of like, I got to be more hard on my guys to be more disciplined, even though he's much of a laid back, like he's the fan favorite coach. He's my favorite. So it doesn't shock me that they're going through those things. What's shocking me is how we go from the number one offense in football and one of the best teams in the NFL at running the ball to where I'm seeing Kenyon Drake be maybe not a liability, but non-existent to any factor of the football game. I mean, 50 yards isn't going to do anything for you in the running game. And you add the fact that Kyler Murray has to run for his life, which we're accustomed to. But it seems to me now that he's flustered. Like, he doesn't seem as confident and as relaxed as he was at the beginning of the season. I mean, he still runs the ball like he did at the beginning of the season, but it's just not the same. I feel like the pocket passing was much better and much more balanced at the beginning of the season. And I was always making the argument that like Lamar Jackson should be Kyler Murray. Lamar Jackson knows how to use his legs, but we gotta utilize his arm because he has an arm. He just doesn't know how to use it yet. It's like a gun. He doesn't know how to use a loaded gun yet. Kyler Murray knows how to use a loaded gun. He likes to throw down the field. He likes to make those big plays. We saw it against the Bills in that incredible catch to DeAndre Hopkins. Now I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing a very timid and very flustered offense, and that leaves the defense to be on the field for a lot more time. And the Rams, who they played and lost to this weekend, were 9 of 15 on third down conversions. So you didn't get off the field, whether it was a penalty or you just gave up too many yards and gave up the first downs.
Yeah.
Like
I feel like... No. Go ahead.
I think the Chandler Jones injury is really starting to come into effect. They did a really good job of post him getting injured with the bicep injury that he's going to be out for the rest of the year. I thought they did a phenomenal job of trying to make up for that. And I do feel like Vance Joseph has done a good job with this group of guys for what he had to deal with. And I love Budda Baker. Oh, I love me some Budda Baker. And he's a
bad man.
He's still really good. But it doesn't matter when you can't get off the field, and it doesn't matter when you're forcing the ball to DeAndre Hopkins. You're not letting the game come to him, and you're seeing just a forced way of moving the ball down the field that just isn't going to work in the long term.
Yeah, so for me, my biggest thing that I've been noticing with the Cardinals is just ever since that game against the Bills, where I mean, you already said it yourself, like they're looks like they're playing scared, or they're playing like they're so scared that they're forcing like small plays to get down the field. And when you have an offense that has arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL, you have a rocket on the other side in Christian Kirk, and you have good old reliable with Larry Fitzgerald, you should be having more, you should be having more of an explosive offense. Now, I get it. They played the Patriots defense. They're great. I get it. They played the Rams defense. They got Jalen. They got Aaron. Aaron Donald. I get it. I get it. These defenses are tough. But you have the firepower to fight back, and you're not using it. On the defensive side of the ball, to a certain extent, it seemed like Isaiah Simmons was coming alive in the middle of the season, and he just fell back down. Now, he's a rookie. He'll get it. It's fine. We all know that rookies take time. It's fine. Some get it better than others. Like we were just talking about Justin Jefferson. Some get it better than others, and that's fine. But I feel like this team has lost their their mojo, their moxie,
Yeah.
And these next couple games they could bring it back. Sure, they have the weapons for it. But with what you've seen, and the ultimate question at this point of the season that's always going to be used against the team, are they good enough for the playoffs? No, they're not. They're not gonna.
Yeah, no, they're not ready.
They're not ready. They hit an all-time high in the beginning of the season. They were on fire. They lost it. They lost it 100%. So, yeah, it sucks. It sucks that a team that has this much firepower is just a dud. They're a dud right now. It sucks.
They were really fun to watch at the beginning of the season. And you just start to see them slowly but surely crumble and shoot themselves in the foot consistently to where they just look flat. And there's no one to blame but themselves.
And like I said, it shouldn't happen. You have Kyler that's electrifying. You have the arguably best wide receiver. You have a freaking firecracker in Christian. You got reliable. You got Dan Arnold that's surprisingly been popping off lately. You got a versatile running back in Chase Edmonds. What's happening? This shouldn't be happening, but it is. And like you said, that Chandler Jones injury is messing everything up. Isaiah Simmons hasn't figured out everything. Pat Pete is not Pat Pete anymore. Let's be real.
He's getting a lot of pass interference and holding calls.
The only strong side of that defense is Budda Baker. Budda Baker is not 11 men.
Mm-hmm.
He's not. You can't rely on him. So, yeah, man, it sucks. It really does suck.
Arizona. I had so much belief in you.
We both did.
The ride has stopped. It's over. Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, God. I know you're ready for this last one. I can tell it in your face. This is about Chicago, isn't it?
Nope. Who gives a fuck about Chicago anymore? Oh, God, who cares? Like, that Detroit Lions and Chicago Bears game, who cares? I don't even know who watched that. I didn't watch it.
I actually enjoyed watching it because I like to see the collapse.
I like to watch the plane crash.
Yeah, it was fun seeing Mitchell once again just. Hey, could have had Patty. Could have had Deshaun. Just saying.
My third loser is Jerry Jones's ego and his pride. And it makes me so happy to say that he is a loser. Loser! And I'm not even talking about the game yesterday. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. Oh, people that were saying, they can still have a chance to win this division. You are so oblivious to how this team has been ran for the last 20, 25 years.
Isn't it 30 now?
Well,
Because he bought it in 89,
in
didn't he?
89, 90, yeah.
So 30.
30. Yeah.
Okay, but we'll say 25.
I mean, once the struggles happen.
Yeah, the first 5 were really good. Jesus.
The smile
Oh, God.
that I got when I got the notification that the Cowboys versus 49ers Sunday night football game has been flexed to an afternoon game
Oh, yeah.
and was replaced by the Giants and the Cleveland Browns in Week 15 to be put on Sunday night football. Bliss. Pure bliss.
I don't think I've ever seen that happen in my life. A Cowboys game getting flexed out.
It's almost orgasmic, in my
It's-
opinion.
It's great, honestly.
'Cause
I would rather much see the Browns and the Giants. Yeah.
Oh, of course I would. If we're just talking football-wise, this was the right decision because Cleveland versus New York is actually a really good matchup that I'm intrigued by. And two teams that need to win out for the rest of the year to really solidify that they make the playoffs, especially the Giants. This is why I think this is the best thing to happen for the Dallas Cowboys and Cowboys fan all around. And really, just football fans in general. What needs to happen for the Cowboys is that they need to not be hated, not be loved to the highest level possible by every single person that watches football. They need to reach a point to where nobody cares anymore. They need to reach Jet level football. And honestly, right now, and I'm pretty sure you would agree with me on this, if the Jets and the Cowboys played tomorrow, the Jets would win that football game.
There's a very high chance. Yeah.
I am betting money, all of my money, on the Jets winning that football game. Because I feel like the Jets play harder, and they have, honestly, better talent on defense. And really, they probably have the heart to win it. I don't think the Cowboys do. I think they shoot themselves in the foot that much. It'd be like the Jets game from like a year ago.
Yeah.
It needs to reach this level of where when we look at the schedule, we kind of just like the Chicago game. Like, no one's going to care about the Chicago game. No one's going to watch that. I want to watch like the Green Bay game. I want to watch the Cleveland game against the Tennessee Titans. I want to watch those games.
Yeah.
I don't need the Cowboys to be America's game of the week. I don't need them to be on primetime anymore. Because who cares? I don't want to watch them. I've been watching this team my whole life. I do not want to watch this football team. The reason why nothing is changing in Dallas is because of Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones. The Jones family has cursed this football team in the last 25 years. Why? Because in those first 5 years of them owning that football team, they said the way to get popular and the way to earn money in this league, to make the Cowboys America's team, is by winning. We need to win Super Bowls. We need to win. And once we do that, smooth sailing. Nobody cares what we do after that. We win. After those, 3 Super Bowls?
Yeah.
After that time, it's been mediocre team after mediocre team, wasteful careers, wasteful coaches, and yet the one stable, the one constant is the front office. Yet, throughout all that time, when you turn on ESPN, when you turn on Fox Sports, and when you turn on the game on NFL like Sunday, and they're talking about America's game of the week, Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, it's always the Cowboys there. It's always the first thing people talk about in the morning, whether they're losing, whether they're winning, it doesn't matter. They are the first things they talk about. And that puts money in the pocket of Jerry Jones. That gets the exposure, and that's all that matters to him. He doesn't care about winning. So the way to fix the Cowboys, because Jerry's not leaving anytime soon. Stephen Jones is going to take care of this football team for the rest of his life too. So the Jones family is always going to have that presence. They're not going to let anybody coach. They're not going to let anybody play football. They're going to run it their way. The way to fix the Cowboys is by flexing them out of the important games and saying, Jerry, we get that you're mad. You're offended. But the reason why we don't want to put your team on Sunday Night Football is because you suck. Your team sucks. Nobody wants to watch your football team. Everybody hates the Cowboys. They hate to see them lose. Everyone's tired of seeing them lose. No one cares anymore. You're just a mediocre team. You're just there. You're the worst team in the NFL. So why would we want to put that if ratings are important? If we want everybody to watch NFL, you think they're going to care about the 49ers that literally has everybody on the IR and your football team? Jerry, I'm sorry, buddy, but we don't care anymore. You don't make money for us anymore. We don't get the ratings like we used to. And then that's when Jerry's going to be like, oh, shit. I actually got to try.
You really thought all of this out, didn't you?
When you're in the car for like 6-7 hours and you're listening to nothing but pure Cowboys football talk on the radio, and you're by yourself, so you got to get through the day by like just thinking of ideas, thinking about what you can do, and thinking about, like what's the problem with the Cowboys? That's the question that everybody's asking right now. What's the problem with the Cowboys? You can talk about personnel, you can talk about coaching all you want, but the foundational problem with this team is Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones leading this football team.
Yeah.
And it's not going to... Losses on Thanksgiving to the Washington football team that are blowouts are not going to matter. No one cares. They all get their paychecks. They all get their Thanksgiving dinner at the end of the day. You'll play a Tuesday night game against the Baltimore Ravens, and Jerry's going to be like, well, we were competitive for a lot of this football game, and if Greg Zuerlein actually hit these field goals, then maybe we would have stayed in that game, and it's a different ball game. He's still optimistic. He still thinks that they're one thing away from winning the Super Bowl, when he doesn't realize that it's a culmination of everything, and he's the root problem. When he looks in the mirror, he's not blaming himself. He's blaming everyone around him. And he's saying, I don't get why you guys can't succeed. I don't get why you can't win a Super Bowl. And if you can't win the Super Bowl, well, okay. They're still going to talk about us. We're still America's team when they're really not. So how do you get to the ego, to the pride of Jerry Jones? When you take away his money. When you take away his exposure. He's the golden child of the NFL. And once that gets ripped off and Roger Goodell's like, you're not. He's going to be like, okay. Well, then I'm going to show you otherwise. Well, Jerry, that's what we've been wanting this whole fucking time. We want you to actually do your job. And if it takes flexing you out of every primetime game to do so and make the Cowboys mediocre for the next 5 years, then you have that reality check of like, oh, shit, we suck. Do it. Do it. Do it.
I think you've spoken for millions of Cowboys fans across the country.
I am sweating so fucking hard right now. Oh my God, I need another shower.
That's how you know it's passionate, ladies and gentlemen.
Dude, I thought about this for hours today.
Honestly, I don't have anything to say. You took everything I could have possibly said. I'm impressed.
If there's ever a time for me to have a TED Talk, I think that was it.
That was good.
I gave a performance of a lifetime.
That was really good.
I'll be accepting my Oscar in the mail.
Stephen A., would you like to cap this TED Talk off?
Oh, no, sir. This is a time for celebration.
Oh.
Jerry Jones' ego, I could care two shits about. But Cowboys fans and NFL fans around the world, ladies and gentlemen, we can all get it.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Bubbly for all, because we don't want to have to watch the 49ers beat up the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. Poggers.
Nick Mullins is going to do us a number.
Poggers.
You're insane.
Oh, I'm clinically insane. I mean, I need help.
I love it, though. I love it.
I don't know if I do.
Well, as a wise man once said on this show,
Real G's move in silence like lasagna?
I'm numb.
Verbatim. Jerry Jones said that after Dak Prescott's ankle injury. He's like, I'm just numb.
Because he saw the show and, like he saw me. And, that's why he decided to say it.
I'm pretty sure Jerry would hate me.
I'm pretty sure you would hate you too.
I'm fine with it. I'll probably never get a job in Dallas working for the Cowboys. But if anybody wants to give me a platform to just shit on the Cowboys as a Cowboys fan,
You can go to Philly.
ooh, I think they would. Ooh,
You can go to Philly. You can go to New York. You can go to Washington.
so anybody
could-
but Dallas.
You could even go to Pittsburgh.
I think. See, I heard a quote today from someone on the radio, and they were like, when you want people to believe in you and believe what you say when things are going good, then you got to be realistic and realize when things are going bad. So I can't be one of these Cowboys, analysts or just opinionators that say oh, well, if it wasn't for Cameron Irving as a left tackle, then they would have won the Super Bowl. And if Dak Prescott would have been back at quarterback, they would have gone for 50 points a game and they wouldn't have made the Super Bowl. No, they wouldn't, because their defense is the worst in football. They're 32nd in almost every category, and they showed it last night. They have the worst secondary in football. They shouldn't bring back any of those guys. And I thought Jordan Lewis played well last night, but I don't think they should keep him. But when things are good, I'm still critical of this team.
Yeah.
I'll give them credit when credit's due. But when you're literally shitting the bed every week and you're getting blown out by a Baltimore team that literally had COVID all around that team a few weeks ago and had no bother to win any of their football games, and you're getting blown out and looking horrible doing it, I'm going to be on your ass. I'm going to.
What an episode! What a way to return. I love it.
It's on here.
Hey, I had one bad take. I'm rusty. Leave me alone. But what a good episode.
Yeah. I mean, really, I think this is going to be the last time they really talk about the Cowboys the rest of the year.
That's it.
Which I'm fine with. I really am. I'm fine.
There's a lot of
I'm
there's a lot of
fine.
other things to talk about.
There really is. So, I mean, we can just preview games later on this week. I don't know. Podcasts are just going to be weird right now just because of me working all the time. I'm going to try my best. I mean, we're recording this at midnight, and I got to wake up in 7 hours, which is going to be fun. But
Bubble Bunch is for you.
I'm the voice of the voiceless for Cowboys fans and NFL fans around the league.
Apparently, yeah.
I'm here for you.
Mm-hmm. Say your outro, man. You're dying.
I need some water after that one. All right. This is going to do it for episode 193 of the Bubble Let Sports podcast. Thank you, Kevin, for coming back. And
Thank you.
We're going to have you a lot more often these
Yes,
next few
we
weeks.
are.
So that'll be fun.
Yes.
And we'll see how we do with the podcast this week and going forward. But just know that I'm going to try my best. And I appreciate all you guys watching, listening, and supporting the podcast. So thank you again, and we'll see you next time on the Bubble Let Sports podcast.
Yeah, hold on. Tell me who's your top 5 quarterbacks right now, dead or alive, huh? And how much do you care about a ring if the best player got carried by the team? Now, would you lose if it been a better draft pick? And do you cuss when your